The Murdaugh family saga, a tangled web of secrets and murder. It sounds like someone took a list of sordid elements and stuffed them all into a crime thriller so twisty it could only be fiction. But the tortuous tale of the Murdaughs, a prominent South Carolina family with shadowy secrets, is real. And it's far from over. The story took a fresh turn this week, when investigators arrested patriarch Alex Murdaugh for allegedly hiring a hitman to kill him in a failed attempt to collect millions in life insurance for his surviving son, Buster. This came 3 months after Murdaugh's wife and other son were gunned down on the family's secluded estate. The mystery indeed has a tangled web of characters and events. To unpack it all, we have to go back at least 6 years. A family history of power and connections. The Murdaughs have long been a potent legal dynasty in this part of the Carolina Low Country. A quiet stretch of farms, woods, marshland and small towns that feel far removed from the tourist bustle of Charleston, or even Hilton Head, some 60 miles south. For nearly a century, the family controlled the local prosecutor's office. Beginning in 1920, Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was the first in 3 generations of solicitors for the 14th Judicial Circuit, which oversees prosecutions in 5 counties. His son, Randolph Murdaugh Jr., succeeded him in the position for nearly 5 decades. But even with the family no longer running the prosecutor's office, their connections run deep. The Murdaughs, including Alex and his younger brother Randy, have long been partners in a regional law firm with offices in 3 counties. They have focused mostly on personal injury litigation and have won big settlements for their clients. We're no different than anybody else. We've just been here as attorneys for a long time, Randy Murdoch told ABC News in June. I see words like dynasty used, and power. But we're just regular people. A boat crash in the middle of the night. The Murdaughs' troubles, at least in the eyes of the public, began in February 2019. Paul Murdoch, younger son of Alex Murdaugh, was piloting his father's motorboat with 5 friends early in the morning of February 24 when it struck a bridge on Archers Creek, near Parris Island. He was 19 at the time and a student at the University of South Carolina. One of his passengers, Mallory Beach, also 19, was tossed from the boat. Her body was found a week later. A 911 call was placed from the crash site at roughly 2:30 a.m. 3 people aboard the boat later told investigators that Paul Murdaugh was driving, although another passenger identified a different person as the driver, according to an affidavit. Authorities charged Paul Murdaugh with boating under the influence, causing great bodily harm and causing Beach's death. He pleaded not guilty and was still awaiting trial when tragedy struck the family again. A mother and son killed at the family estate on June 7. Emergency dispatchers in Colleton County received a 911 call from a distraught Alex Murdaugh. He told them he had just arrived at the family's 1,700-acre estate in Island Ton, an unincorporated hamlet, to find the bodies of his wife Maggie and son Paul lying on the ground by their dog kennels. It's bad, he said. Maggie Murdoch, 52, had been shot multiple times with a semi-automatic rifle. Paul Murdoch, by then 22, had been shot at least twice with a shotgun. And are they breathing? Asked the dispatcher. No ma'am, Murdaugh said. The gruesome scene pointed to 2 shooters, leaving some observers wondering if it was connected to the family's legal history. Paul Murdaugh's uncles told ABC News that he had been received threatening messages online since the boating accident. Alex Murdaugh, 53, has denied responsibility in the killings, which remain unsolved. My brother loved Maggie and loved Paul like nothing else on this earth, Randy Murdoch told ABC News. So there's no possible way he could have anything to do with this, I can assure you. The slayings thrust the family into the national spotlight and have so far baffled police. They also brought new scrutiny to 2 previous deaths. A mysterious body on a country road in June, as investigators probed the shooting deaths of Alex Murdaugh's wife and son. they made a startling announcement. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division said it was opening an investigation into the death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith, whose body was found July 8, 2015, on a rural road some 8 miles west of the Murdaugh estate. At the time, police said Smith had a massive head wound and they believed he'd been struck by a vehicle. No suspect was ever charged. Authorities have not revealed what new information led them to reopen the investigation into Smith's death. Smith and Buster Murdoch, 25, were classmates at Wavehampton High School. The Murdaughs have not been accused of wrongdoing in his case, and no evidence has connected the family to Smith's death. Reopening of the investigation was long overdue, Sandy Smith said. "We've been waiting on this forever," she told the affiliate. "Stephen's always been put on the back burner. It's like nobody's looking for answers. Stephen's had no justice." A bizarre roadside shooting most of the summer passed uneventfully. Then, on September 4th, the Murdaugh saga took yet another turn. That day Alex Murdaugh called 911 and said he'd been shot in the head by an unidentified man while changing a tire on the side of the road not far from his home. A family spokesperson said the family expected Murdaugh to recover and asked for privacy, saying, "The Murdaugh family has suffered through more than any one family could ever imagine." Murdaugh had hoped his surviving son Buster could collect a $10 million life insurance payout, according to an affidavit to support charges against Smith. Murdaugh wanted to end his life, but believed his life insurance policy had a suicide exclusion, said his attorney, who added that his client wanted to protect his only living child. Murdaugh provided Smith with a firearm and told him to shoot him in the head, the affidavit said. Murdaugh also announced he had resigned from his law firm following allegations he had misappropriated funds, and said he was entering rehab for what one of his attorneys later specified was an addiction to opioids. "The murders of my wife and son have caused an incredibly difficult time in my life," Murdaugh said in a statement. "I have made a lot of decisions that I truly regret." Then the mystery deepened even further. A housekeeper's fatal Fallon Wednesday, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division said it was opening a criminal probe into the February 2018 death of Gloria Satterfield, a housekeeper who'd spent more than 2 decades working for the Murdaugh family.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.